Hey, what's up, guys? Today we are going to dive into a little caveat of Ironman racing. There's obviously a lot of swimming, cycling, and running that goes into racing Ironman. But today we're going to be talking through transition and specifically the bags that are used and supplied by Ironman. So how are these used? What goes in them? That sort of thing. But first, we're going to be diving in. So for today, just recently, Ironman released their overall awards for the best races worldwide. Now, I will say the North American races did not fare so well. The vast majority of the events that scored the highest worldwide were not in the U.S. I think only one or two even made the list. So because most of us are located in North America, I just skipped to the North American section and we'll hit those real quick. So for the Ironman distance, overall satisfaction, number one, my favorite races I've said on the podcast here before, Ironman Florida. Number two, Lake Placid, another great one. And number three, Canada, Ottawa. That was an inaugural event, so props to everyone involved there, because to put on an event for the first time, still working out the kinks and all that, and to have it make the top three is quite impressive. Most recommended, Lake Placid. I can join that list and recommend this one. It is beautiful. It is a challenging course. It is an amazing swim. It is an amazing venue, gorgeous place. Generally some good weather, but you never know, so a good one. Number two, Wisconsin. Not my favorite, but that's okay. Number three, I have recommended numerous times, as I said, Ironman Floor. Absolutely love that one. Best swim. I think this one is perhaps a bit due to the current and the chances are that you're going to swim a PR. Most people are swimming less than an hour. I think the average was like 59 minutes or something like that. Next best swim, Florida. This is one that I've always loved. It is a gorgeous venue, crystal clear water there on the Emerald Coast. Great swim around the pier, 2 loops, great fan support as you're making those loops. And then, as I mentioned before, Lake Placid. Mirror Lake is a gorgeous venue, and you have the cable to follow. So if you're not familiar, basically the buoys follow a submerged cable, so you don't even necessarily have to worry about sighting. You can just look at the cable that is under the water there. On to the best bikes. Lake Placid making the list again, and I will say this is a tough course. It would be far more difficult if it were done in reverse, but it is a beautiful course. You've probably seen pictures, or if you've been, you know exactly what I'm referring to. Absolutely gorgeous course out there in Lake Placid. Best bike for Florida, maybe because it's fast. As much as I love Ironman Florida, I will say the bike course for me is it's not that exciting. It's okay. But I don't know that I would put it in the top three. And then kind of same with Wisconsin. It is nice, and it's got some rollers. It's got some elevation to it, but not my top three. And then best run, Ironman Texas. I've said it before. As much as everybody loves Ironman Texas, it's all about the run. The swim is pretty bad. The bike is pretty bad, but the run is amazing. So I will agree with that. Same with Lake Placid. It's a tough one. Definitely some elevation continuing from that bike course onto the run course, but great fan support. And all around that picturesque little village that has hosted the Olympics twice. And Wisconsin, I don't love the bike as much, but I will say it is a really neat run. It runs through the stadium there. It goes by the Capitol. Finish line is right there on Capitol Hill. It runs along the waterfront for a bit. So I will say Wisconsin is a great run for that. All right, moving on to the 70.3 courses. Overall satisfaction, Hawaii. Probably a no-brainer there. Why everybody loves Hawaii? Well, it's in Hawaii. It is a neat course on there, and so you're getting a feel for what you might race in the Ironman World Championship. Not exactly the same, but getting a feel for it. Number two, New York. I will say this is a well-run event. I've been to it several times. The weather has been an issue several times, but I will say it is a neat venue with a really well-run event. And then the Washington Tri-Cities. This is a one that's always very popular. Most recommended, Oregon, perhaps there for this smoking fast swim as well. But it is a known course for being really great, really nice, picturesque, good weather. And then on to New York again, tied for second for both the satisfaction and the most recommended. yeah, I'll recommend it. I think it's a good one as well. And then this one was a little surprising. Pennsylvania Happy Valley. I was at this event last year. It rained pretty much the entire weekend, and I want to say there were only about 600 participants. So kind of surprised that it got as many votes as it did. And I know there were some complaints about the swim, the bike. I think the run was really cool all around the Penn State campus. But a little bit surprised to see that. Now I know this year it is the Tri-Club Championship, so hopefully things go a little bit better with that. So again, kind of here surprised to see the best swim as the Happy Valley swim. I could think of several 70.3s with a better swim. Maine is one of those, another one that's really fast. It's a downriver swim in a really picturesque area, so I could see that. And then same with Washington Tri-Cities, another lovely river swim there. Best bikes, Michigan. I'm actually not real familiar with this course. I've never been to this race, but if it's a best bike, then maybe I should. Santa Cruz is down there on the California coast. Makes a whole lot of sense that would be a really great bike course. And then New York. So New York is on a closed highway. So it's 2 loops, and it's just a totally flat, totally closed, nice, smooth road. So that makes sense. That's a smoking fast course out there. Best run, Washington Tri-Cities. Again, great venue with a very picturesque, similar Oregon up there. The Northwest is representing well here on the best run. And then Mont Tremblant is a picturesque little European type village that I could see that making sense too. That great fan support out there, and just it's tough with some elevation, but yeah, you could probably feel like you're running around Switzerland or Austria or something like that without having to travel over all the way to Europe. All right, so moving into today, talking through Ironman transition. And I'll say the transition itself is not all that different from any other triathlon, but really where it differs primarily is in the use of these bags. But we're going to kind of hit everything, kind of focus on these bags. And I know historically this has been kind of a source of confusion, source of stress. What do I do with these bags? What goes in them? When do I drop them off? We're going to hit all that. And my objective here is at the end of this is you can head into your Ironman race with a high level of confidence, knowing exactly what goes in those bags, what to do with them, and where and when to drop those off. Now, I will say, with a caveat here, there is a little bit of difference from race to race. So I'm going to speak here in kind of general terms. Every race obviously is set up a little bit different, but the vast majority of the North American Ironman events follow this same procedure, and at least will be very similar to what we talk through. But obviously, consult your athlete guides, attend those athlete briefings, ask the race director or race officials if you have any specific questions on these. So again, I stand by this advice, but I will say it may not be 100% right on with every event that you do. So again, take it for what it's worth, and we'll head into pre-race. So typically Ironman events have a mandatory bike drop the day before. So as you go down there, you'll drop your bike off in transition. Along with that, your gear bags are dropped the day before as well. Vast majority of the races have this procedure where day before you drop your bike and you're dropping off your gear bags. So your gear bags only the day before the race. Your personal needs bags are dropped race morning, typically, as is your morning clothes bag. Generally, you're going to take that down to the race start and drop it off there. Now, even though you're dropping those gear bags the day before, most races, and this is why there's an asterisk here, most races will allow you access to those gear bags on race morning. Now, I have heard of a few that you cannot access. So obviously you're going to want to take that into consideration in what you're packing. So generally when people are accessing their gear bags on race morning, it's to drop off something like nutrition that they've mixed up that morning, maybe like a bottle of nutrition. You don't want that sitting out overnight. So you can bring that with you in the morning. So if you have access to the bags, then you can bring that nutrition with you in the morning, stash the nutrition there. and have it. Otherwise, again, if you don't have access to these bags on race morning, but you want to drop off or you want to have nutrition in there, obviously you're going to need to pack that before you drop the bags off. So this is one of those things that you're going to want to confirm. Vast majority allow access to these bags, but again, you want to make sure that obviously things like split transitions are going to complicate that. So just look into your race and check to ensure that you will have access to those bags if you are needing that on race morning. So a couple tips here, and this is probably one of my biggest here for the bags and for preparing for an Ironman event. Make a packing list and a bag list. So there are a lot of things to remember. Swim, bike, run, recovery, different scenarios, whether it be a rainy day, a cold day, a hot day, all these kinds of things. There's a lot of things to remember. And if you forget something, don't have something, that can turn into a very stressful situation. So I enjoy lists. I like lists. They kind of simplify my life. They reduce my stress level. And I will say one of the most practical lists that I use is when I am approaching an Ironman event. So I will start with my previous list. So if you have done this before, it's a great starting place. But I will say my list changes with every event. So my gear changes up a little bit. Obviously, the event, the venue, the weather, all those kinds of things will affect what I'm packing. So I start with what I've done in the past, and then I amend it, update it to whatever I'm doing now. So if you haven't done this, I am going to share the list that I have, my most recent, and it can be just a good starting point for you there. There are lots of lists available on the internet. I think even the race guide has a list in it as well. So whatever works for you. So what I do is I first make a list of everything that I'm going to pack. So basically everything going in that suitcase. So most of us don't have the luxury of sleeping in our own beds the day before, week before, leading into a race. So most of us are traveling. So even if I were sleeping in my own bed the night before, I would probably still have a corner of a room set up where I could lay everything out and make sure I have everything utilizing this list. So since I'm always traveling for events, for me, it's basically what goes in that suitcase. So I'm going to make a list of everything that I want to have. I start with the days prior to the race. So if I'm getting in, obviously, a practice swim, a practice ride, I'm going to bring kit for that. I'm going to bring whatever I need for those days prior. And then obviously everything that I'm going to need for the race. All my swim gear, bike gear, run gear, recovery type stuff, my nutrition, recovery beverages, all those kinds of things are going to go into this list. So I make sure that I have everything there. And included in that is everything that I'm going to be putting in my bags. But then I have actually a separate list that I use specifically for the bags. And so I have them laid out with my morning clothes bag, my bike gear bag, bike personal needs, run gear bag, run personal needs, and then I have a list of everything that is going to go in those bags. So it's kind of double dipping here where I know that I'm going to pack it because it's on my packing list. And then actually when I check in, I get these bags and I am there actually putting the gear into these bags. All I do is go through that list, throw the items into that bag, and once I have each one of those items checked off, I can emphatically know that I have everything that I need. I don't have to worry or stress over, did I miss anything? Did I forget anything? So that is a ritual that I have had since my very first Ironman, and I will be doing it on my next Ironman as well. So that is perhaps one of my favorite tips for preparing for an Ironman event and preparing for what you're going to pack into your bags. So think about these things during your training sessions. Pay attention to what are these items that you're using, obviously, but then also think about what are the things that you would like to have? What are the things that you wish you had? And sometimes if you're out on, say, a long run, there may be something that you wish you had, but because you're out on a long run and you may be miles away from home or your car or whatever, you may not have access to it. You will potentially have access to your personal needs bag. So what is something that you may want out there? So pay attention to those things that you're already using and maybe even those things that you wish you had access to. Those are good things to include in these bags. And then I will say probably my number 2 tip for Ironman transition, Ironman bags, is to write your number with a Sharpie on all your bags. So basically, even as you can see here in this picture, there are thousands of bags that look exactly like yours. The only thing that is going to differentiate your bag from thousands of others that look exactly like it is a little adhesive sticker with your race number on it. Now, as mentioned, you're going to be dropping these bags off the day before the event. Oftentimes, these races are in coastal areas where the humidity gets very high. I think, a lot of these races. So Florida, Ironman Texas, down in Mexico, in Cozumel, lots and lots of really humid environments. In these environments, the humidity gets sky high overnight. I have seen lots and lots and lots of stickers laying on the ground on race morning because that humidity came in and it actually released the adhesive and the sticker fell off. So now there's absolutely nothing to identify or differentiate that bag as yours. So very easy. Take that Sharpie. The first thing I do is write it in the little box where it tells you to put that sticker. So if the sticker does fall off, your number is still in that location. And then I say kind of go wild, go nuts, and write that number all over the bag. So one, it's going to make it easy to spot. And two, it's also going to make it a little bit different. It's going to stand out from all these other bags that look exactly like it. So as you are kind of getting reoriented after the swim or reoriented after coming off the bike, it's going to be that much easier for you to spot yours, identify yours amongst this crowd of other bags. So, and then from there, I kind of say go nuts. And one of my favorite things to do is use some novelty duct tape. Whether it be a bright neon color or sometimes they have patterns, they have sports teams, whatever kind of identifies with you. And what I'll do is I'll tear off like 12-inch strips or so and then just put those on the bag. And that's going to further identify that bag as mine, further differentiate that from all of the others. And that doesn't do anything to impede all those bags around me. So we don't want to do anything like streamers or balloons, anything like that can cause a safety issue or any kind of an issue for the volunteers, the other athletes. But I've recommended this literally to thousands of athletes, never had any issue with it. And kind of funny. Ironman actually recommends the Sharpie trick now of writing your number on those bags. I will say I've been doing that for more than a decade. And I will say that I don't know that I'm necessarily the one that originated the idea, but I will say that I've been recommending that longer than Ironman. All right. So morning clothes bag. This is typically dropped near the swim start. So what this bag allows you to do is kind of in name and theory is this allows you to wear some clothes down to the swim start, especially if it's a cold morning and you want to wear some warmer clothes and then you want to shed those as you get down there to the swim start. This is an opportunity for you to have those clothes returned back to you. So generally, they are dropped down there at the swim start. This is one of those things that kind of varies race to race. Some are literally right there at the swim start. Some are a little bit further away, but inevitably they're going to be delivered back to the finish area. So again, you can wear those clothes down to the start area, drop the bag off. Those bags are then delivered back to the finish area. Because of that, I like to call this also a finish line bag. So not only does it serve as a way to shed those clothes for the race morning, it also is an opportunity for you to have things available to you at the finish line. So a couple of things that I like to pack in my morning clothes bag are some clean clothes, underwear, kind of a novel concept. So for the first time all day, putting on some underwear, some wipes to help you clean up, anything else like that. So I will say once you have completed an Ironman event, you're nasty. And to me, it's just a really, really gross feeling. And for me to get cleaned up just feels amazing. You're going to be feeling kind of rough anyway. And this is one of those things that can kind of help make things a little more comfortable. So I really like to get cleaned up as soon as possible. So this is kind of what I pack in my morning clothes bag. So I'm going to drop it off at the swim start, and they're going to bring it to me at the finish line. And generally what I'll do is I'll duck into a porta potty or someplace like that, utilize those wipes, kind of wipe down as much of my body as I can, put on those fresh, clean underwear and some comfortable clothes, and that goes a long, long way in helping me to feel better after the event. All right, as we head into T1, you're obviously going to exit the swim. Generally, you're going to collect your gear bag. So generally somewhere between that swim exit and the change tent, these bags will be laid out. You will have dropped those bags the day before. Now, I will say generally the volunteers are going to go in and somewhat rearrange those, so they are dropped in numerical order. So it's hard to tell how many bags are going to be in a particular space. So especially if you're early on, which I do recommend. I recommend getting down there and dropping your bags early on in the day. But that does mean that a lot of people are going to come after you. So it's not going to be in that exact position, but it's going to be in that general position. So this is all the more reason to make sure that you have done something to make your bag stand out so that you can find it quickly, not lose any time, not stress over having to look for your bag as you're heading through this area. Once you have your bag, you're going to transition in the change tent. So as far as I'm aware, all of the North American Ironmans do utilize a change tent or a space. So like Ironman Wisconsin, you're actually going into the convention center and transitioning in their ballroom. Ironman Florida used to be a hotel ballroom. Now it's a change tent. But generally, these are just very large tents, kind of like where you would go into registration. In fact, sometimes even the registration tents are repurposed into transition tents. And from here, you can do whatever it is that you need to do. You're going to basically change from the swim to the bike. You're going to drop that bag in the designated location, collect your bike, and then mount after the mount line. So, bike gear bags. The one thing you absolutely have to have in your bike gear bag is a helmet. That is because you obviously have to have a helmet while riding, and Ironman utilizes what they refer to as a clean transition. So the bike racks are only bikes. There's nothing loose laying on the bikes. There's nothing on the ground around the bikes like you would for generally a 70.3 or shorter transition where everything is set up there on the ground, or you may have like your helmet laying on your handlebars. Nothing like that is allowed at these Ironman events. Vast majority of Ironman events do not allow your shoes to be clipped in. I will say I have heard some kind of one-off exceptions to that. So if that is something that you're wanting to do, I would say check with the race director, race officials, that sort of thing to see whether it is allowed at your specific event. I don't know what it is that the policy is no shoes in the pedals. But again, I've seen exceptions to that rule, so I'm not sure whether it's just the race director's decision or what. But if that is something you're looking to do, check with the race director or a race official and confirm that. But otherwise, your helmet, your shoes, everything else is going to go into that bike gear bag. So things like shoes, socks, sunglasses, nutrition, if you're carrying that with you, everything is going to go on your bike. Now, that's not to be confused with you can have bottles on your bike. So if you're having bottles in cages, those don't have to go in your gear bag. You will have access to your bike generally on race morning. So if you have liquid nutrition or water bottles that you're bringing, you can either bring those the day before when you drop off the bike, or most people are going to bring those on race morning and then just have those in those cages. But like for me, I often will carry just some spare nutrition, spare electrolytes in case anything happens, kind of a plan B. So if you have any nutrition that you're carrying in excess of what you already have on your bike, throw that in your gear bag and then carry it with you from there. So one of my favorite tips here is a go bottle. A go bottle is simply a bottle that you have. It's going to be packed into this bike gear bag. For me, I like to have about 6-8 ounces of water in this bottle. And then I'm going to have a serving of my nutrition. I'm going to have a serving of my electrolytes in there. So obviously, as I've been completing the swim, I've not been taking in any nutrition, hopefully not too much fluid, hopefully not too much electrolyte. But obviously we've gone through, we've burned calories, we've lost fluid, and we want to begin to replace that. We've talked numerous times about how important it is to replace these fluids, stay up on nutrition, stay up on your electrolytes. So this Go bottle is just kind of a boost. It's a quick start to starting that nutrition protocol, hydration, electrolytes, all that as we start the bike. So as I'm going through my transition, or maybe even as I'm walking out to my bike, I'm just going to chug that bottle. It's going to give me, again, 6, 8, 10 ounces of fluid. It's going to bump me up on my nutrition. It's going to bump up my electrolytes, and then I can start into my protocol from there. So it's just a great way as a little bonus and kickstart these to ensure that we get off to a great start with our nutrition, hydration, and electrolytes. So that's that Go bottle. You can do a full change in the change tent, so you can strip down, get as naked as you want to. They are specific to men and women, so you may want to pack a change of clothes in there. I have done this in the past, and I've not done this in the past. So, for example, Ironman Florida, one of my favorites and a great swim, as we saw, but in this transition, you are running through the beach. It's that really nice, fine sand. But once you're running through this sand and you're all wet, it has a tendency to get into some places. So obviously, you don't want that sand in places that you don't want it to be as you are heading out on that 112-mile bike course. So, for example, I've worn just a pair of trunks under my wetsuit for that race, and then done a full change in the change tent. So the kit that I'm putting on obviously is clean, it's dry, and don't have to worry about any sand. This is also a good option for cold races where you may be concerned about being cold on the beginning of the bike, and you're obviously going to be all the more chilly if you're coming out wearing a wet kit. So this is an opportunity to put on a dry kit that's going to start you off a little bit warmer. And other people just prefer a cycling kit as opposed to a triathlon kit. Obviously, there's more padding in like cycling bibs, so it may be worth it to you to spend 1, 2, 3 minutes, however long it takes you to change, to have that more comfortable padding or that more comfortable cycling kit out there. So whatever it is that you want to do, obviously you can do that, but just whatever you pack in that bag, you're going to have access to. You're going to reuse that bag to repack your swim gear. So if you have a wetsuit or a swim skin, your swim cap, your goggles, all of that is going to go back into that bag. So you've taken out all your taken out all your bike gear, you've put all that on, and then anything else that's not going with you out on the bike course, you're going to pack in that bag. So that's the swim gear. Maybe you've decided not to take something, just throw it back in that bag, and you'll drop that in the designated location. Your gear bags are returned to you. So obviously you're going to get all this stuff back, your wetsuit, goggles, all those kinds of things. So generally those are returned either with your morning clothes bag to the finish line area, or most commonly they are returned somewhere in the neighborhood of the transition area where your bike is. So you'll head down after the race to pick up your bike. You'll be able to pick up your gear bags as well. So again, all of that stuff will be returned to you. Bike personal needs. So what are the personal needs bags? What goes in them? It's whatever you want or need. So it's kind of neat. I have heard the gamut of things being packed into these bags. For me, I don't put as much emphasis or as much value on the bike personal needs bags. Generally, we don't run into as many issues as much earlier in the race. But a couple things that I will throw into a personal needs bag is some extra nutrition. So I utilize my own nutrition. I don't use the nutrition on course, or I don't use all the nutrition on course. So what I don't take from the course, obviously I'm carrying that with you. I don't have enough on me to make it through the whole course. So with these personal needs bags, I can stash that basically enough for kind of the back half of the bike, so I don't have to carry that on me. So I'll pack extra nutrition, and then sometimes a spare flat kit. So generally I will carry 2 tubes, 2 CO2s. God forbid, knock on wood, that I would need any of those, let alone more than 2. But if you have limited capacity, maybe you only have room for 1, you may want to throw an extra tube in there, anything like that. Now, I've also heard everything from Big Macs to anything else. Whatever it is that you want, you can pack in those personal needs bags. On a looped course, they are generally available on each loop, but only available once. Obviously, if it is a single loop course, generally it's going to be set up somewhere around the halfway mark, and obviously you're going to only have access to it once. But if you are on a looped course, which a lot of the courses are now, the general rule is you can access it on any of the loops, 1, 2, 3, regardless of how many loops there are. But generally, you can only access it once. So if you take it on the first loop, it's not going to be available on the second loop. So take that into consideration as well, both in your planning and in your execution. So again, if you don't need it on the first loop, maybe save it for the second. And then, a lot of these things, hopefully we don't need at all. But the caveat here is typically these personal needs bags are not returned. So make sure that either you're not packing anything in this bag that you need to get back, want to get back, or if you are, make sure that you are taking it when you have the opportunity to do so. Now, this is one of those things where check with the race, read the guide, but I will say the vast majority of events do not return bike personal needs bags specifically because they're being taken out on the course, and it's just a lot of work to bring everything back, distribute those. Generally what they say is anything in there is donated. So like if you have clothes or anything like that, they are donated. So generally not going in the trash. Generally, you can rest assured that it is going hopefully to a good home if you're not collecting it once out there. All right, headed into T2. Obviously, you're going to dismount at the line. From there, you're going to go and collect your run gear bag. Very similar process to T1, where you came out of the swim, grabbed your bag, and went into the change tent. Once you've done that, you will transition in that change tent. Usually, it's the same tent. Sometimes if you have a dual transition area, it may be different. You're going to do what you need to do, repack that bag, and then drop it in the designated area, and then head out onto the run course. Easy peasy, right? So your run gear bag, not anything required in this one, but generally most folks are going to have their running shoes. And from there, things like socks, cap, visor, nutrition, sunglasses, again, whatever it is that you're going to want to have out there on the run course, whatever you need, whatever you wear, you're going to pack it in the run gear bag and then, put it on, collect it once you are in that change tent. Now, something here that I utilize, and it's kind of a break in case of emergency, is a med bag. And what I mean by that is this is just usually what I'll do is use just one of the small snack size Ziploc bags. So those are the real small ones. And I will put just some medications in there that I might need out there on the run. So I'm not planning for this. I'm not hoping for this, but it's one of those like hope for the best and plan for the worst. So if by chance I get gassy, or if by chance I get nauseous, I'm going to have some medications to address those. So I'm going to have like some Gas X pills. I'm going to have some chewable Pepto-Bismol tablets. And again, hopefully I don't need these, but if I do, I'm going to have those with me. So I'm going to have that in my gear bag, and I'm just going to throw those into my pocket. I'm going to carry that with me. And again, hopefully not use it, but if I do, I'll be real glad that I have it. It's also something that's pretty nice to share. If you come across maybe a friend, training partner, or maybe a complete stranger that says, "Oh, I'm struggling, man. I'm having this gas pain, or I feel like I'm going to throw up." It's super cool if you can hand them either that Gas X or the Pepto. So again, just a small bag there, easy to carry, and super cheap. I always just go to like a drugstore, get the generics, and they're usually like $2 or $3 a piece. So it's one of those things that you hope you're wasting your money on, but it's going to be worth exponentially more should you need it. Or again, come across somebody that does. Also, definitely recommend a Go bottle for the run, perhaps even more so than the bike. We want to make sure that we are starting the run as well-fueled, as well hydrated as possible. So it's easy to get behind a little bit on that. Another one of my recommendations is to kind of going back to the end of the bike. Generally, my rule of thumb is the last 20 minutes of that bike leg, I'm not going to consume anything. I'm not going to take in any more fluids, not going to take any more nutrition. What I don't want to do is come in and start the run with a stomach full of fluid, sloshing around, having that uncomfortable feeling. So basically what I'm allowing for in that last 20 minutes is allowing my stomach to empty so that I can get back on my feet, start running, and not have any issues with that. So this Go bottle is going to be key in, once again, kind of getting that process started. Now, my stomach has had time to empty, so I'm not worried about consuming a relatively large amount of fluid relatively quickly. And this is going to, again, kick off the hydration, kick off the nutrition side of it. So generally what I do here is a little bit more fluid. So that bike Go bottle usually 6, 8 ounces. What I will do for the run is more like 8, 10, 12 ounces. And it's even easier to make this truly a go bottle. So a lot of times what I will do is if my stomach is feeling great and I'm feeling thirsty enough, I may just chug it there and toss it in the trash area of the change tent. But a lot of times what I may do is actually carry this bottle with me. Now, it drives me crazy to carry a bottle while I'm running. So that is not part of my strategy. I know a lot of people are great with that and enjoy it, and it works well for them. I wish it did for me, but it just drives me crazy to be carrying anything. But I will often carry this bottle through. It just kind of depends. However long it takes me to go through it, it may be the first 100 yards, it may be the first half mile, maybe first mile, but I will carry it with me and then ditch it once it's gone in one of the designated trash areas. So from there, it truly becomes a go bottle, but it's a great way to help you kick off both your hydration, nutrition, electrolytes to make sure that you're starting that run as well topped off as possible. Once you have completed your change, done everything that you need to do to head out onto the marathon course, you will repack that bike gear bag with, your run gear bag with all of your bike gear. So your helmet, anything else that's not going with you out onto the run course, you will repack into that bag and then drop it in that designated area. Once again, you will get these bags back, so don't worry about losing anything there, but just make sure that everything is well labeled and well marked. And then from there, you're going to head out onto the run course. All right, run personal needs. So kind of same thing, whatever it is that you want or you need for your run. For me, it's some spare nutrition. Again, I don't put a whole lot in these other than the med bag. So this is just another one of those backups. It's one of those things where either maybe I've gone through and used the med bag that I started with out of transition, or maybe something happened. So I always have a backup there in my personal needs bag. And then from there, things like dry socks, especially if it's a really hot race or a rainy race, something like that. It may be really nice to have some fresh, dry socks to put on, things like that. But again, whatever it is that you want, whatever it is that you need to get through that run. Little caveat here specific to the run. Obviously, these events go on all day, and oftentimes they go into the night. So basically, all of these courses are going to have sections that will get dark. A lot of them have just natural lighting from street lights and that sort of thing. But a lot of times they go out into some areas where there's not. Ironman does a pretty good job of having portable light towers out there, but those are limited in how much light they put off. And then, obviously we want to make sure that we're not tripping on a pothole or anything like that. So if you plan on being out there after dark, do recommend a headlamp. And if you don't want to carry that through all those daylight hours, that is a good thing to have there in your personal needs bag. So as you reach that destination, it's getting later in the day, sun's starting to set, you're there approaching the personal needs location, you can grab that headlamp and then utilize that as necessary. So this is one of those safety things that definitely recommend. If you're going to be out there after dark, utilize a headlamp. And then I think the best way of utilizing that is to pack it in your run personal needs bags. Another consideration is warm clothes. So again, this is going to depend on the race, the venue, how late you're out there, but it is not unheard of for temperatures to drop quite a bit after sunset. Usually, a lot of times the folks that are out there for longer periods are not running as much. There's more walking involved, so you're not generating as much body heat. So it's kind of a double whammy there. As the temperature drops, you're not in the sun anymore, and you're not generating as much body heat. Your body may have issues regulating your core temperature. So you may actually have a drop in core temperature. So if you plan on being out there later into the night, and if the forecast is called for those temperatures to drop, consider something like maybe a long sleeve t-shirt. Usually it's not a whole lot, but in certain cases it may be a jacket or something like that. Just whatever is specific and appropriate for the forecast. Make sure that you have that taken care of. This is another tip that I love to share. Pack a treat. And again, once make sure that it's enough to share. So for me, it's Sour Patch Kids was a long-term treat that I used to pack. And same thing, I would just use those snack-size Ziploc bags and fill it up with a bunch of Sour Patch Kids. And as I went through the personal needs area, I would stash that in my pocket. And if I needed something a little different than the nutrition I've been taking all day, I would just pop a couple of those, and they're good. It's a little bit different. It's a treat, and it's a great way to make friends out there on the course if you can share your candy. So just something to be a little bit different, something to look forward to. And this can also be something like maybe it's a memento or memorabilia or like a picture of your family, your kids, whatever it is that is your motivation, whatever it is that is fueling you to keep going. Maybe that's something that you know is out there, and so you're looking forward to it, and you may be saying, man, I can't wait to get to mile 13 or mile 18, depending on the loops and all that, however these personal needs stations are laid out. And maybe something that helps you get there, something to look forward to, and then once you have it, then that can help you fuel you all the way to the finish line. So again, something like a picture of your kids, your family, whatever it is that is your why, your purpose. Have something in that bag that you can grab, and then utilize that as motivation to get to that bag, and then once you have it, to move on to the finish line. Now, keep in mind, these Run Personal Needs bags are not returned. I will say there is generally more options for these bags to be returned, not so much returned, but be able to be retrieved than the bike. So obviously the bike are going out onto the bike course. They're a long way away from the finish line and where everyone is. Sometimes, and again, it's going to depend on the course layout and where these personal needs bags are located, you may be able to access them. So a lot of times if you have like a 2-loop course, that second loop is where the personal needs bags are located. So you can have it right at the beginning of the second loop. And that second loop is generally pretty close to the finish line. So like one that comes to mind is like Ironman Chattanooga. It's a 2-loop course, and the finish line is, I don't know, maybe a quarter to half a mile at most from the finish line. So if you've got something in that bag that you really want to retrieve after the race, chances are you could probably go show them your race number and you could probably get that bag back. I can't imagine the volunteers there telling you can't have it. But that's going to be more practical at some events than others. Single loop events, they're generally out at the furthest point away, so you're probably not going to want to go out there. But again, keep that in mind. Just know if you have something in that bag, make sure to collect it if you're dead set on getting it back. All right, that is what we got for transition and bags. I'm going to do my best to post up some more resources on that to help you with your planning and your packing. Once again, I want to wish you all the best with your Ironman racing. We are just days away from the kickoff of the 2026 season. I am super excited and look forward to seeing you everyone out there.